Hello, dear lovely people. This is Sakino on Sunday. Today I would like to share a few thoughts about vulnerability and safety. I start with a little story. Just now I had someone visiting my praxis, where I am now, who wants to rent the group room for groups sessions. And I liked her. She seems to be a very nice woman. And we were standing and sitting in the group room. She was walking around, looking at it and finding it very tempting and very inviting. And then she asked about when could she rent it. And some of her quest was fully okay with me, and others were not. And I was sitting there thinking, well, why am I so peculiar with my conditions when I rent out my place? Why am I so rigid and non-flexible? And I was sitting there thinking, while she was wandering around looking at the place. And while I was sitting there feeling really good and safe in that chair in the group room, and just remembering how many things I have done here in the past 20 years. That's how long I have had this place. And I thought, well, I have created a sanctuary here. A sanctuary for healing. And I want to keep it that way. And if I loosen my conditions, I will always feel something is not right. So I was very friendly, and I told her, I like you, and I am happy that you want to rent my place because I would give you my place. And she liked that too. And I said, at the same time, I need to be firm in my conditions. Because I need that. I need to have this place kept the way it is. Because I feel safe here. And I can only work with people in a space when I myself feel safe. That might sound a little bit strange, but that's how it is. If I am feeling good and safe in myself, I can provide that same safety and security to my clients so that they can open up their deepest wounds and possibly and hopefully heal them. So after she was gone, I was sitting in my office and I thought, yeah, this is who I am. I am a deeply wounded person from my early life. And in order to heal, I had to find ways to feel safe in my environment, with people. And I have created spaces. My apartment is one space, this clinic, this praxis is another space. And I need that. People have often asked me, why don't you give up your praxis? Because you are not there so many times. But I have always said, well, I would not want to have to work in a place that I don't know. And for every group that I'm doing, to rent a new place because this is what I have created. It's almost like a womb for me. And as I hear from my clients, they feel the same. They feel it's a safe space. It's a good energy. It's a healing, warm, welcoming energy here. And of course I do have to rent out the place for financial reasons to cover expenses. But then I only rent it out with conditions that keep that quality. And somehow I feel good with that. And I also feel vulnerable. And that's a good feeling too. Exposing that need for safety to a stranger makes me vulnerable. But it's a kind of vulnerability that in itself feels safe. I feel safe in my vulnerability because I know how to protect that vulnerability in a way that it works. So, my little reflections about vulnerability and a safe space are my contribution to Sunday. I used to say in my groups, when I used to do weekend groups and it was Sunday morning, I always was somehow giving a little speech. And I said, well, this probably comes from my childhood when I had to go to church every Sunday and the priest would give a speech. And I feel I have given a Sunday speech. And this little video that I'm sending out to you today feels like a little Sunday speech about vulnerability and safe space. And I hope it makes you reflect a little bit about your own vulnerability and what makes you feel safe in your life. And if you want to, you are very welcome to write to me what your safe space is and how you are dealing with your own vulnerability. I wish you a very beautiful Sunday and thank you for listening.